Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Plum Island Sea Comment. It is so good to see you all. I am on my porch. We're going to do a little bit of porch shelling, but before we jump into that, I do have a few announcements for you. The weather is turning. It is late fall, and we are starting to get some of those nor'easter storms. So we're going to be having a lot more videos coming your way, which I'm very excited for. The second thing I want to tell you is my wife and I are heading to the Cape this coming week. So I'm going to be doing some Cape Cod shelling. So we're going to be getting a lot of those beautiful, colorful bay scallops. So look forward to that video. And the third thing I wanted to tell you, which is kind of a two-parter, is a friend of mine, Maureen, who lives on Plum Island, is actually hosting a Moonrise circle on the beach on November 5th. If you're local, I know this is kind of short notice, but she's having women gather on the beach to have refreshments and drinks and snacks. It's just going to be a spiritual ceremony and a gathering of women, and it's incredible. I actually have never seen, ooh, it is getting windy. I told you those winter storms are rolling in. It is getting crazy, crazy cold here, but it's going to be a great event. This is actually the first time I've seen a moonrise over the ocean was this past year, and I didn't know that that was a thing. I've known about like sunsets and sunrises, but to see the moon rise over the ocean, it is an incredible event. So definitely check that out. Again, there's going to be a link in the comments. Maureen is also going to be holding a weekend retreat on Plum Island. Again, I'm so sorry that this is short notice, but if you're local, definitely check it out. It is a women's weekend retreat. You're going to be in a beachfront home for the weekend, getting gourmet cooked meals and being able to bond and connect with other women and build friendships, and it's going to be amazing. So definitely check it out. If you're local, these are definitely worth looking into. I can't recommend them enough. But now on to our porch shelling. I have so many cool shells to show you that I've been collecting, some collected by Kim, some collected by me, but let's jump into that right now. Let's go. Okay, we are jumping into the shells. I'm super excited. We are filming some porch shells. This is like a overflow of shells in my collection that I have on my porch here. So let me walk you through some of this. So these are some shells. Let me start with these. These are some shells that I found when I was down visiting my parents in Florida. So this is some star coral, and I really love the repetitive patterns on it and the detail in it. I found a couple of pieces of this when I was down there. We don't typically get this on Plum Island. I've never found a piece of this on Plum Island, but we do get some of this on the Cape in different areas after big storms. Let me be clear. This does not usually wash up, but I have found a piece or two of very small pieces after major storms. When I was down in Cape May in New Jersey, there were some pieces that were washing up there. So that's typically where it's found, from like New Jersey down through Florida and other areas. But in my region on the East Coast, that's usually where it's found. So I was really excited to find this down there. There's another piece that I found when I was there. Me and my mom were shelling the beach together, but look at how beautiful that is. Love the markings. The other thing that I found when I was there is a fossil or two. Let me show you over here. This is a really cool fossil that I found. See all those awesome shell fossils that are on this piece. If I had more time, I would have gone back to this beach just for the fossils, because it is so cool. So we'll put that here. Another thing I just wanted to show you real quick, we don't get shells like this here on Plum Island. This is like a dime a dozen in Florida, but this is a fighting conch. You can see here, if I use the muriatic acid on this, all of this calcification would come right off, and it would be just as glossy and shiny as this. But you do have to be careful with the muriatic acid, because if you leave it in too long, it will lose its shine. But look at that. That is gorgeous, and I love the apex where it has all that beautiful detail. So that is another favorite of mine. On to, this is an apple snail. So These apple snails are super, super invasive. They are land snails. They're found in like the marshes. But I've always been interested in them, but super, super invasive. They're kind of having a problem with them in Florida and in other areas like Louisiana. When I was down there, we did a swamp tour of the bayou, and that was something that they talked about, were the apple snails. So that is what they look like, and I will leave that here. This is a tulip, another warm water Florida shell. Some really cool pieces of hagstone that were gifted to me. I always wanted to find a piece of hagstone on the beach. I have not yet, so that is a bucket list item for me. But these were gifted to me, and I was very thankful for that. One more piece down here. So cool. Next thing, we have a purple sea urchin. Sorry for when I go quiet, I'm just swooning. Look at all of that detail. That is crazy. But that is a beautiful, beautiful purple sea urchin. This is the Moxie bottle that I found a few weeks ago on the beach. So check out one of my last two videos. I found this on Plum Island. You can see, let me see if I can hold it up to the light. We had better lighting this morning on the porch, but it's pretty good now. You can see the beautiful fall leaves changing colors in the background over there. But this is the Moxie bottle that I found. I loved that rolled lip at the top and how frothy it is. But if you go back to one or two videos ago, you can see me dig this out of the beach. Last video, I found that awesome rum bottle, and unfortunately I left that in my office at work because I brought it into work and I was showing it to everyone there. Just to let you know, the people at work are so patient with me because I'm always bringing in like shells and things that I find on the beach. But that rum bottle is really cool, so I don't have it here to show you today, but I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. But this is the Moxie bottle. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this was the other really cool bottle top that I found on the beach in the last video with, I think at the same time I found the rum bottle, I found this. But look at the top of that. This looks old, and I wonder what the bottle itself actually looked like. Was it round? Was it square? I don't know, but it definitely has pirate vibes. So I kept that. I got to give this to Kim when I see Kim. Ooh, I keep seeing things that I'm just like grabbing for. Look at this cool barnacle, really pretty pink barnacle. Love that. Get it in some better light for you. And I like all the little baby barnacle that is kind of nested on the larger ones. I love how rustic and how cool the things from the ocean are. So amazing. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here's a Stimsonicalis from Plum Island. Kind of busted, but I kind of like the busted ones because you can see what's going on inside with the whorl. Let's see if I can get it in better light for you. I like how dark that one is. I found a couple last week too that were kind of busted up. You can see these in my last video that I posted. There was a lot of stuff washing up. Unfortunately, a lot of it was busted because the ocean's been so rough. Let's jump over here. This is my nemesis, my New England Neptune. I have yet to find one fully intact. This is the closest I've come. Kim has found a perfect one before. This one is the closest I've come. There is a hole in it here, but it is still pretty dang perfect in my opinion. But look at the banding on that. I love this. So New England Neptune is kind of, I always call it like the Junonia of the North, because on Plum Island these rarely, oops, a little sand coming out there. How authentic was that? But Yeah, on Plum Island, these are hard to come by. These are very, very deep in the ocean. So these are deep water shells. So it is very rare. It takes a big storm to bring these up onto the beach. And when the storm's that rough, it's usually very rare that it shows up in perfect condition. So this is my best find yet for that. Look at all these beautiful moon shells I have here. Really gorgeous. I have a common whelk. This one might have been, I think this one's from Scotland, when we actually took that trip to Scotland. And if you haven't seen that video, check that out. That was a really fun trip, very fun shelling trip. Another really, really beautiful moon shell. Look at the size of that. Talk about a mega moon. And I actually found one, like, I would say 20% bigger than this in one of my last few videos. So it's probably the biggest one I've ever found. There's a flat skull up here. Gorgeous. Look at that in the light. Wow. Very orangey. I'm not going to dig this one out, but this is the Queen Conch shell. This was gifted to me from my friend Anne. She got this in Jamaica. That is beautiful. Actually, I'm going to pull it out and hopefully it's not going to break anything else that's here, because I need to show you the pink underside. That is beautiful. I'm glad that I did that. I'm going to be very careful when I put it back. But that is a gorgeous, gorgeous shell. Again, this was gifted to me from my friend Anne, so thank you. You can see there's more apple murex. Oh no, that's not an apple murex. That is another moon snail. Down here is the one I was referring to. Another busted New England Neptune. In pretty good shape, but still not perfect. The apex is busted off of that one, but I get close, but not perfect yet. But we're getting there. Got some hamburger beans in here. Cool. Got another common whelk. And yes, beach life is the best life, in case anybody's wondering. I love where I live. Let's keep moving on. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about this Jaws wine. I don't get sponsors. I don't do sponsorships because I don't like having to like push anything, but I just promote things that I like. So this Jaws wine I found on the island at the Cottage Surf Shop, which is another really cool store. Again, not sponsoring me. I just like to plug things and people that I like. But this wine was put out for the 50th anniversary of Jaws, and I was bummed. I missed it when it happened, and I didn't get a chance to buy it. And then they said they weren't going to restock it because it was like a limited edition type thing. And then I was really sad about it. I went online, I looked everywhere, and I couldn't find it anymore. And then I went back a few months later and they had it. So I bought like 6 bottles of each, 6 bottles of white, 6 bottles of red. Because how cool is that, right? Love Jaws. It's one of my favorite movies. But anyway, Cottage Surf Shop. You can see I have it like everywhere. If you're on Plum Island, check them out. They have really cool t-shirts and fun things. One of my favorite places to go and kind of like poke around. This is another fossil I have here that I found in Florida. Little olive shells that I found in Florida when I was visiting my parents. A lot of cool stuff in here. More little star coral. Look how cute that is. Let's move over to here. This is some of my purple wampum that I found. If I can get this in good light for you. Purple wampum that I found when I was in Ocean City with my sister. That was another good video. Check that out. There's wild horses on the beach in that video, which I absolutely loved. But purple wampum in there. We also have my jar of dog whelks. I'm always trying to collect jars of dog whelks because I just think they're so cool. And I like to collect mass quantities of them. So I'm always filling jars with them. See what else we have. Ooh, this was an awesome piece of beechwood that I found a couple weeks ago.
but I just liked how like chunky it was. Looks like a little barrel, like a soda can or something. So I brought it home. Thought it would be fun to display just sitting here on a shelf like that. So I opened up my porch trunk, which is where I like to keep a lot of my favorite things. You can see there's some cobwebs in here. I haven't been in here in a while, you guys. I feel like work has really been taking priority over the things that bring me joy, although my job really does bring me joy, so I love what I do. So I feel very, very fortunate for that. But check this channeled whelk out. That is super swoony. I love that. I've never found a channeled whelk myself. This was gifted to me from a friend of mine, Kim. This was the fossil. I feel like that got me hooked on like shelling and fossiling, but I found this with my dad when I was little baby Jaime, probably, I don't know, like 5 or 6. We were in a big construction site where there was a lot of shale, and there was these really cool fern fossils. So I saw that and I was like immediately hooked. Look at this crown conch. It's another warm water Florida shell. Shark eye. Shark eye moon snail. Has that little lobe coloring over the umbilicus. What else do we have in here? So many good things, I don't know what to choose. Look at this little cup of olive shells. That is beautiful. Pull one of those out, take a look. It's pretty gorgeous. Beautiful moon snail. Look at that. One of the things I have in here were gifted to me. Look at this Stimsoni. I found this on Plum Island. This is definitely in one of my videos. I think Patty actually came across this with me, one of our winter shelling videos. Nice knobbed whelk. This was another Cape May, New Jersey find. This keyhole limpet. I think this was from Chile, along with this purple sea urchin. I'm so glad we're doing this. I haven't been in this chest for a while. It's nice to be able to show you around. Beautiful scallop shell. I think this was a Scotland find sent to me by my friend Amanda and AJ and Birdie the beach dog. These are some sea biscuits from Holden Beach, fossilized. Another beautiful shark eye. This is definitely a Cape May, New Jersey find. Love how blue that is. What else do we have? Awesome book that was gifted to me. So excited when I got this in the mail. Mark the page with the moon shell because they know how much we love moon shells here. So it's another awesome gift. Thank you so much. What else do we have here? It's a rock oyster. Look at how purple that is. That is beautiful. One more thing here, if I can get this out. This was a find that I found with my sister when we were on the Cape. Let's see if we can see the... Yeah, there we go. White rock. Found this bottle on the beach with my sister in Cape Cod, which is where we are heading. How cool is that? That was an awesome bottle score. There's so much stuff in this trunk, but we have to head out because we are actually driving to the Cape. I don't want to get there too late because I don't want to miss the low tide, and I definitely want to do some shelling with you there. So we are going to cut this short. We're going to come back to this trunk another day, but the next time I will see you will be when we get to the Cape on the beach, when we collect those awesome bay scallop shells. So thank you so much for doing a little bit of porch shelling with me this morning, and I will see you on the beach. Bye.